Friday. Happy hour.
Here's your host, Brian Dean.
Okay, my camera is a little off center here. That's a little better. Okay. Let's take the music down a bit. Music, mic not muted. Okay, great. Sweet. Let me just check that the stream is on here. Looks like we are good. All right. Great. Perfect. So it's Friday. I've got my beer here. It is, what is this? Cold pizza Pilsner. It's a new one. Never had this one. So let's get this thing open. And let's start our happy hour stream here. So basically what I've been doing is working on the short. The little scene that I did last time was like a temp, like it was a test. And now I'm kind of doing it for real. Higher quality and, you know, kind of putting a little more time and effort into it. So I'm going to go over some of that stuff and some ups and downs. Some ups and downs. All right, so that's ready to go. All right. Cheers. That's pretty good. Okay, let's take this down. Turn the music off. All right, let's get into the workflow stuff. So I've been reconstructing the scene using Seedance, making stuff 1080p. Generating stuff at 1080p, which is more expensive, but the quality is much better. What I noticed, and I'm not sure what's causing this, what I noticed in some generations is there's like this blotchy noise pattern, as if like the denoiser of the model doesn't quite finish or something. And I don't know if that's because of the lower resolution. I don't know if that's because you're inserting too many reference frames and it's just kind of like running out of memory. But it doesn't seem to happen as much on the high resolution model. So it's twice as expensive. Is it twice as expensive? I think it's about twice. It's expensive. So, but it's worth it, I think. Like to just get this done well, you know, I think it's kind of worth it. So there have been some shots that I've dropped back down to 720. Just because like, man, there are just some things that are really, really difficult to do. And I don't know. It just seems like it's a simple prompt. I want a simple thing to happen, but it just can't seem to understand what I'm doing. I don't know if that's a problem with me, with my prompt, or if it's just like AI being AI. The one thing that I don't like about it is, like if you're using Comfy UI, you have a seed, right? So this generation is using the same seed every single time. So if you get something that's not quite right, you can go in and adjust your prompt to fix it. But with this, if you get something that's not quite right, if I go and like adjust my prompt to fix that, when I generate again, it's going to be a completely different seed, which means that problem might not even be there on the new generation because it's a different seed. It's a different noise pattern that it's starting with. I'm assuming Seedance works the same way as they all do. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But because every image generator and stuff that I've used, they're deterministic. So you're going to get the same generation every time if you have the same inputs. And then you just change the seed to randomize it. So, you know, by trying to incorporate these things, oh my God, I hear an ice cream truck. I wonder if they have beer in the ice cream truck. That would make it a beer truck, wouldn't it? So if you're generating stuff, and you're modifying your prompt based on something that you get in a generation, you might be making your prompt overly complicated because that one problem won't be a problem in the next generation. You know what I mean? So you're trying to address something because of one prompt, but it's might not be a problem in the next prompt. And by having that in there, you might actually introduce more problems into the next generation. So I'm going back and forth between trying to really, really get these long, long explanations in my prompts and going back and forth between that and just being like, hey, just here's the bare bones, like just the bare minimum of what I want it to do. And I don't know, like I get mixed results. So I'm still trying to figure that stuff out. And I don't know, I'm going through like standards and stuff like that and what the model wants and expects. And I do think there are memory limitations. So I think if it can only handle so many reference photos and images and stuff. So there's definitely like a limit to what you can plug into it. And I think that causes it to run out of memory and it just overloads it, what it's trying to do. And I think that can run into problems. So again, I'm trying to keep these things simple. When I first started doing this, I was like, oh my God, like the generations were coming out great, like almost perfect. There was some camera issues where the camera was crossing the line a bit, but it's like the generations themselves were great. The performances were great. Everything was great. And then all of a sudden I hit this like boom where none of them were working. So we can go over the new edit here. That's a pretty tasty Pilsner. I imagine it would go very well with some cold pizza. You know what? I was going to say I can't play it in Resolve because it's too, I'm applying a film effect and there's actually a couple layers of film effects. There's like a film color, like a basic film coloration. And then on top of that, there's like the film damage and also black and white effect. I'm not sure if I'm going to go black and white. I kind of want to go color, but going color introduces some, like there's one shot where he had this blue rim on his face. I'm like, where's that blue rim coming from? If I go black and white, that's not a problem. If I go color, then it's like, do I have to deal with that? I don't know. Does anybody care? I don't know. But let's just, let's see. While I'm talking here, I tell you what, I'm going to render this out and then we can watch it rendered. So give me a second here. Give me a second. Hold, please. There's a couple workflow things I want to go over too. So if we do that, yes. Actually, maybe I'll do that, add to render queue and go. So one of the things I've been doing is playing with Canvas, which basically allows you to do node-based generations. And I came up with this really good tracking system for tracking like the script and what's being generated, right? Let me share that with you. There it is. It's this stuff that they call paper. And I printed out the script on this paper. And then I use this thing called a pen. Now, here's the thing, like sometimes I gotta say, just like the old way of doing things, just a piece of paper and a pen, like it's fine. It's fine, it works, it's fine. So, that's all I'm doing. I printed out the script. It's a little faint because I did draft quality here, so it's a little hard to read. And then I just, like you can see, I'm blocking it out and saying what my shot numbers are, my generation numbers, so that I can look at the script and be like, okay, when I go into Canvas, which let's see if I can pull that up while this render's going. Where's my Canvas? Do I have it open? I've got too many windows open, as always. So here we go. And if I pop this guy over, so here's Canvas, and you can see I've got it like, these are the different shots, and those correspond to these numbers here. These numbers here tell me what shot it is, and then on the canvas here, I've got these annotations of which shot it is, and then those are the given generations. This tool is like, it's okay, but there's some issues with it. Like I can't reference any of the pictures in the prompt. Like if I bring this prompt up, I can't like if I go, usually you do an at, and you can see like it gives me my elements that I have, but it won't let me do the images. It should say like image 1, image 2, image 3, whatever. But I don't have access to those, which I don't know why. Like I think this is a fairly new tool. Maybe it's a bug, but it's a problem. So, I don't know. That could have been leading to some of the problems I was having. I actually went back to the normal generation, which is just the window generation where you're just kind of doing one prompt at a time. I went back to that because I didn't know if this was causing problems. But you can see here, like, basically I've got my character references, right? So Dylan, Bill, here are the extras. Here are some props that are going to be maybe needed. And then here's a different camera angle. So I'm trying to trying to restrain it to some certain camera angles. Although sometimes I just let it do a cut. And I like the camera it chooses. It's not bad, and it gives a little bit of variety. So, the model's actually not bad at doing that. It's just that it's tough to leave it up to chance when the generations are expensive. And then all these dots was just so that for myself, if I was working on a shot, just a visual indicator of, hey, I'm generating this shot. I can just move this around and be like, okay, this shot is regenerating, so that I know to check on it when I come back to this page. But it's pretty, you can lay out all this stuff. I do like, this is a mess, right? This is an absolute mess. I wish you could group a set of inputs and just like input that one thing into an image, into a prompt here. That would be great, rather than having to connect all the things every single time. And it's also a mess. Like there's no way to reroute these like you could like in Nuke or in Unreal if you're used to using stuff like that, or Houdini. I think Houdini can do that. And there's also no way to turn those things off, which would be nice to just hide them every once in a while. Kind of annoying. But anyway, that's the technique I've been using, and I think the render's done. So we can watch the we can watch this. All right, so I gotta turn my system volume back up. The people upstairs for me are like, they've got elephant ballroom dancing going on or something. I don't know what the hell's going on. Where's my cursor? Okay. So this is color. This is a color render. I turned black and white off for this. I need to get it on this screen. And so I also had this framing effect around it. I'm trying to make it look like 1950s, like old film kind of thing, I don't know, like I'm playing around with different things. So I don't know if I'm going to go with something like this or not, or go with black and white or not. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm just testing these things out in the render. So let's just give it a watch here. This is the current cut. These are the new shots. And I suppose I can get rid of myself. And I'll mute my mic, and hopefully I won't forget to unmute it when I come back. So let's make sure the system volume, okay, volume is up. And let's give this a watch. Oops. Sip of my beer. And let's mute myself. No, you know what? I won't mute myself. Whatever. This way I won't forget. Here we go. Let's watch it. Let's watch it.
You've all heard the news by now. Hartfield beat us to 4,000. Barton is going for 4,500 next week. We're behind. We have 1 day left. Tomorrow was supposed to be our untethered dive, the first in history. But right now, Depth is scoring the points in the press. I'm proposing changing the location of tomorrow's dive to someplace deeper.
You can't be serious.
Bill, we need to go deeper.
No. That spot was off limits from day one. We agreed!
4,500 is the only number that puts us back in this race. And that trench is the only place within range that we can get to. We have 1 day. Just one.
Let's just do our scheduled, untethered dive. Show the world we can do what none of the other subs can do.
Nobody's gonna print a headline about a sub that swims on her own when the whole world's counting feet. Depth makes headlines. And if we don't stay in the headlines, the money men will bail. But if we can go deeper than the other teams and dive untethered, think of it, the deepest dive in history and the first untethered dive in history. It'll be all anyone is talking about. The money will pour in for all of us.
It's too dangerous. The weather there is too unpredictable.
We can make the final decision based on weather once we're there.
It's not just the weather. It's that place. I've been in those waters. We don't belong there.
We're diving to depths that would crush a human body. This whole expedition is about going where we don't belong.
You don't understand. Those waters are cursed!
This impacts us all. We vote on it.
No, damn it! Vote or no vote, I will not dive there! Not in those waters!
You won't have to. I'm pilot the Aqua Tingis tomorrow. I'm taking her down myself.
Okay, so Aquatingus. So one of the things is it will not say Aquaticus. I think it's gotten out of like 20 generations. I think it said Aquaticus correctly once. Aquatingus, aqua, like I don't. It's funny. It's funny, but it's not funny because every time it screws it up, it costs me money. But I'm still working on that shot. But that's like. So he's supposed to say he's like, I'm not diving down there because Bill's the sub pilot, and he's gonna say you won't have to. I'm gonna pilot the Aquaticus tomorrow. I'm taking her down there myself. So that's the part. Like I'm still trying to work that out. And there's a few shots in there that like the lighting just changes drastically. Like this one. I mean, like he's all shiny and wet, and I've got to regenerate this one. So there's a couple in here I have to try and redo because they're just like really very different. It got very dark in my room all of a sudden. 1 second. There we go. I don't have my lights on, my streaming lights. There we go. There we go. How about that? Okay, so yeah, there's a couple shots in here I'm still trying to fix. Yeah, and they just don't match. I was actually gonna do, you know what? I was gonna do a compilation of all the outtakes. I guess let me try and do it right now, really quick. So in the music, like I've generated about 20 or 30 different versions of this theme in Suno. And I've got like, like a dread version, like a pensive, thoughtful, dramatic version, like a triumphant version, like all these different versions of the same theme so that I can kind of edit between them. There's a couple spots in there where the edit is not quite smooth because I keep changing out clips and changing the edit, and so the music edits I had in there change, and so I, you know, it's kind of a waste of time to go in there and smooth them all out every single time because every time I make a change I've got to do it again. But it's actually, I'm going to go over that in a video because I think it's worth doing. You know, you create a theme song in Suno, and then what you can do is just iterate the heck out of it and create all these different variations. And that gives you basically like your own soundtrack, your own score. And you just cut between the versions you need. Like I said, you generate an action one, a slow one, a fast-paced one, you know, different instrumentation. You could go like all strings. You could go, you know, like heavy brass, heavy percussion, vocals, no vocals, you know, all this different stuff. And it just gives you a lot of variety. And if you are good enough with editing those several pieces together in your edit, it'll feel like you have a custom score. You know, and there's some rough spots I'm still trying to smooth out, but so that's been pretty cool. But let me see if I can just do this. Another workflow tip that I've been doing, I can't show it because it's on my second monitor, but if you have a folder on your computer and you drag that folder into your bin on DaVinci Resolve, if you drag that bin onto your, or you drag that folder onto your bin and then you right click, I wish I could show it on my folder. Wait, can I? I can't do my second screen. If you right click, you can say update automatically. So that means whenever I generate a video and I download it to that folder, it automatically gets imported into Resolve. It's very handy. It just saves like a bunch of time. That if I download a bunch of clips, when I go back into Resolve, they're already there. So let me just go in and grab these outtakes because they're kind of funny. I don't know. We'll watch them. So if I just grab these, we'll do. Okay. Where's my. Okay. All right. So we'll just watch this. I haven't watched all of these, but I basically, some of these aren't bad. There's only part of it that's screwed up, and some of them are just ridiculous. So I don't know, we'll just watch them. Maybe they'll be funny. These are the outtakes. These are the things that cost me money. I think some of the Aquaticus ones are in here. I don't know. I don't remember what's in here, actually. We'll just watch. Maybe we'll full screen.
But if
Where's the sound? Did my headphones turn off? Why is there no sound?
and release.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
But if we can go deeper than the other teams and release the tether, think of it. The deepest dive in history. The dive in history. And the first untethered dive in history. But if we can go deeper than the other teams and dive untethered, think of it. The deepest dive in history.
Weird cuts.
And the first untethered dive in
He's
history.
Like screaming and yelling, the whole background.
But if we can go deeper than the other teams and release the tether,
he's talking to nobody.
think of it. The deepest dive in history.
He starts walking over to the
and
other
the
side of
first
the table for some reason.
untethered dive in history.
Like, it kept wanting to put him on the
But
center.
if we can go deeper than the other teams and release the tether, think of it. The deepest dive in
That's
history.
all one take, by the way. Or
And
that's
the
all one
first
generation.
untethered dive in history.
See, that was in one generation. I should have put a blank in between.
But if we can go deeper than the other teams and release the tether, think of it. The deepest dive in history and the first untethered dive in history.
See, that one wasn't terrible. It gets a little too close to him, but see how his eye line completely shifts? It's like things like that it does. It makes it unusable, you know? And it just like, look at the detail on this collar though. Look at the knit detail. That's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing. Anyway, it just like will do random stuff like this where it just ruins everything. Like you can't use it. It's unusable.
But if we can go...
And then here, I don't know what's going on here. Now they're kind of half sitting. There's another guy in here. There's 2 extra guys in here. I like I said, you know, it's the same prompt making these.
Deeper than the other teams. And release the tether? Think of it. The deepest dive in history. And the first untethered dive in history. But if we can go deeper than the other teams and dive untethered, think of it. The deepest dive in history and the first untethered dive in history. But if we can go deeper than the other teams and release the tether,
what the fuck?
Think of it. The deepest dive in history and the first untethered dive in history. But if we can go deeper than the other teams and release the tether, think of it. The deepest dive in history and the first untethered dive in history. But if we can go deeper than the other teams and dive untethered, think of it. The deepest dive in history.
The room changes like
and the first untethered dive in history. But if we can go deeper than the other teams and release the tether, think of it. The deepest dive in history and the first untethered dive in history.
You won't have to. I'm piloting the Aquatis tomorrow.
The Aquatis.
I'm taking her down myself.
Lip sync is way off there for some reason.
This impacts us all. We vote on it.
No, damn it! Damn it! Vote or no vote, I will not dive there. Not in those waters!
Let's just do our scheduled untethered dive and show the world we can do what none of the other subs can do.
You won't have to. I'm piloting the Aquatius tomorrow. I'm taking her down myself.
So there you go. There's like a collection of the outtakes. Just jacked up generations that, you know, end up just costing me money. I don't know what the cost is for each generation. Speaking of cost, I'm working on something which I'm working on a bunch of stuff. Like I want to get this Suno video done because I think the sound stuff is important. I want to get the what else? Oh, yeah, I want to do that. There was also, I wanted to do a video about using Unreal to try and guide the generations, but I haven't been having much luck with that actually. So I don't know if I'm going to actually make that video. Part of this, like the videos that I want to do, I have to actually have success with these techniques before I go and make a video and tell other people, hey, why don't you try this? But one thing that I think would be useful, let me see if I can find it. Hold please, hold please, hold please. Let me see if I can find this here. I've been working on this. Oh, I hear there's an ice cream truck out there. For real, there's a real life ice cream truck. Okay, check this. Is this the most? I don't think this is the most updated one. This is. Okay, check this shite out. Well, first of all, hold on. Hold on. Check this out. You're going to love this. This is going to be on my Discord, which is up but not public yet, and or maybe on my Patreon, which is also I'm working on. Both will be available freely. This won't be anything that's you have to pay money for, but I'm just going to give a little preview. I think I want to put this on my Discord because the reason why it would go well in the Discord is that if people find any errors with it, or if people want changes to it or something, they can just drop a note in the Discord and then I can see it. It's much easier than if I were to try and like sort through YouTube comments or something like that. and probably, Patreon. I haven't used Patreon much at all, really. But Discord seems like the easiest place to get that back and forth on it. But check this out. Check this out. Check this out. Okay, let me see if I can make this a little bigger here. So we have got the generative index. You want to know how much it's going to cost to do something? Well, check it out. Let's say we want to use Seedance 2. This is going to tell you how much it costs on various different platforms here. Okay. Now, a lot of different platforms, what they do is I had to belch because of the beer. Hopefully my mute button worked. Excuse me. Anyway, this will take the model that you want to use, and you can set your resolution, and it will tell you where it's cheapest. Okay. This duration, what was this? This is, I don't know if this needs to be here now, actually. I don't think this is actually doing anything. Okay, I've got to fix this. I got to get rid of this. Up here will be news alerts. There are, it's going to give you if there's any deals going on. Those will be up here. Down here, like I said, you can select your model, select your resolution, and it will tell you. It will tell you like how much things cost. Oh, for selected duration. Okay, so if you wanted to do like 5 seconds, 30 seconds. So this is basically telling you like, if you wanted to generate 2 minutes worth, how much it's going to cost using. And now you can only go 15 seconds. That's the maximum clip time. But if you wanted to do like 2 minutes, stringing those all together, that's like how much it would cost. It's a rough estimate. However, I have another tool that's going to make this easier. But that's like, this is pretty cool. And then down here, there's some other stuff about, various different pricing stuff. Just a lot of different things here that I think are going to be very helpful for helping people navigate all this pricing stuff, because it's really hard. They all have their own system. Like they have credits, tokens, whatever they have, and some, it's all different. And how that relates into actual cost. You know what maybe I should put in here too is a money converter. So if people come here using different currency, they could do a conversion to whatever their currency is. That would be a good thing to put in. So that's one tool. The other tool is this is an old version. What will your short actually cost? Because here's the thing, when you start making this stuff, it's deceptive at what it's going to cost. I think Higgsfield made their 90-minute feature film that was in the Cannes Film Festival, and they said they spent $600,000 on it. So if you think you're going to take AI and create a 90-minute feature film, well, good luck, unless you've got $500,000 kicking around. Now, you could still do it. They were doing full quality and all that stuff, and wasn't just video generations. They were doing image generations as well, and probably doing some other AI stuff which may have been burning through credits, like using some of their other tools that are using like Claude or other LLMs or something that are probably paying credits for it. But the point is, if you get into doing this, you have to understand that there is real cost. Now, the flip side of this is, if you were to do this in 3D, like in Unreal or something, you're still going to have cost. Like you're going to have to buy assets. If you can't make everything yourself, you're going to have to buy pre-made assets. So, what does that mean? Well, that means you're going to have to go to these asset stores and, get stuff. And then sometimes you have to modify it. Sometimes it works as is. But there's a cost. Like when I started doing the what did you see stuff, let me pull this up. I think it's in here. I think I pulled this up last time. Well, yeah, so here's the clip. So this is an Unreal render. You know, I started to make this. This was the modern version of this story, but I was testing like, you know, some Ocean plugins, and I had to buy that ship model. You know, that costs between $200 and $300 for that ship model. You know, so you know that's the thing. Like, if you're going to do this stuff in 3D, there's costs involved. Like, if you need a good ocean, then maybe you have to go buy ocean tools or something. You know, so you know it's always going to cost something, right? So anyway, what this tool does is just allow you to kind of realistically, now it's not, this isn't going to be like exactly what it's going to cost, you know, this obviously, but it gives you a rough idea. I'll show you how it works. And again, this stuff's going to be available. I'm going to make a video about this, and I'm going to post this. When I launch my Discord channel, this will be a link to these will be in the Discord channel. And you'll be able to go and just check these out. And like I said, once they're in the Discord channel, if somebody says, hey, this is wrong, or hey, could you include this website or whatever, or hey, could you add this feature, I can get that feedback and then update the tool, you know, make changes, whatever. And then also people could hopefully, you know, hey, we found this deal that's going on over at, you know, like these deals pop up sometimes, like Higgsfield is having one now where you can get like 30 days free of Seedance, Fast, something, whatever. Like I've already got 2 accounts at 2 different places, so I can't really be getting a third, but you know, it might be worth it. Like if you're working on something, it's just, you know, it's good to know that those things are out there. So what this does, so length of your short, so you can say this is like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and you can figure out what your price per second is here. So if you say, if we go to Seedance, and if we're using Higgsfield, and this is 40 cents a second. That's about right, isn't it? God, is it that much? 40 cents? Holy cow. 40 cents a second. So if we look at, oh, I've got it here. 0.431. So that's how much it would cost. And this is generating 3 generations. Now, again, it's taking 10 minutes and breaking that up into 15-minute chunks or 15-second chunks. Now, obviously, some of those shots might be smaller. They might be longer, shorter, longer. But ultimately, you need to cover that 10 minutes. So it's just going to average out to 15-second chunks. What I was thinking about doing in here was putting in, like, changing the average shot length. So if you know it's going to be a quick cut thing and you know that your average shot is only going to be like 5 seconds, that might impact, I'm not sure like how much that impacts the calculation, but that's one thing I wanted to add in here. But this basically gives you like, okay, let's say it's something that I'm just going to do one take. I'm going to take whatever it gives me. That's how much it would cost, you know, to do 10 minutes. You know, now again, the cost is like you get credits included in your plan, but if you max those out and you have to buy more credits, this is if you had to pay for the credits. It's how much credits would cost. If you get plans, obviously those plans come with a preset amount of credits. So it's not necessarily going to cost this. Like this is how much it would cost to do, and then you have to see like, you know, what's included in your plan. Maybe that would be something too, to be like, if I have maybe put in like, if I include this much credits are included in my plan. That might be something to add. I don't know. But anyway, it's kind of a cool calculator. So if you can say like, okay, and this is not unrealistic to think that you could have like, why is this not, there we go. 7 takes per shot. Like the one shot that I showed you, I did, I don't even know, half a dozen or so. So, but it averages out. Some come out perfect the first time. So you kind of pick this average, 10 minutes, if you have to do like your average rerun is 7 generations per take, it's going to cost you almost $2,000. So that's just the reality of this stuff. So this is a good tool, I think, just to kind of know what you're getting into. And again, this is just the raw cost and credits. This isn't like, this is if you were to have to buy all the credits. All these plans that you buy, obviously you're getting credits included. So you'd have to figure out, and again, this is maybe something I could put in the tool, like how much of that would be included in your monthly plan. And then you could, actually that would be a good idea. Like how much is included in your monthly plan. And then you could figure out if you just want to use your free credits, you could figure out how long it would take you to, you're waiting for each month for your credits to refresh. And that could give you, that would be a good thing to put in there probably. Be like, okay, if you just want your free credits, here's how many credits you get per month. Here's how much it's going to cost. It would take you 2 months, 3 months, whatever. That would actually be good. And I'll have to see if I can remember to do that. But down here, it's kind of giving you like, this is your reality ladder. Optimistic is 1.5 takes per shot. And this is kind of giving you like, basically what you can expect from this. So this is going to be the calculator I'm going to come out with. I think it's going to be kind of handy. And this combined with this tool where you can see like how much, like basically it's just Sora 2 is, I think there was a note here somewhere about Sora 2. It's discontinued, but it's not gone yet. It's going to be hanging around for like a little bit until it's like phased out. But there are some, like I guess Higgsfield now is the only place that still has it. I could double check that right now, actually. Let's see. Oh, it's gone. So I may not have updated that. Oh, there it is. No, it's still there. Yeah, it's still there. So yeah, it's still hanging around on a few places. I guess just Higgsfield, but they did. OpenAI did discontinue Sora. So anyway, that's what's going to be coming up. I was hoping to get that done this week, but I was working on. I also was hoping to get a new cut, like this first part of this video. I wanted to get the new version of this out this week, so I was hoping to get both of those done this week, and I got neither. But yeah, I think like a cost calculator and these cost tools would be helpful because it is difficult to like figure out how much this stuff is going to be costing you, so you know what you're getting into. Yeah, and I think like adding in that month, excuse me, that monthly refresh period, so that you could figure out, okay, if I get a plan and I get this many credits, how many months would it take me to just use free credits? Like that would be, I think, helpful to have. So anyway, those things are going to be coming up. Next week, those videos will go out. I'll introduce this, and I'll launch my Discord, I guess, and the Patreon. I'll launch them both. And I think this type of thing, this calculator, goes better on Discord, like I said, just because it would work better if there's like a interactive feedback coming from it, right? so that's about all I have. I'm trying to think if there was anything else. Yeah, so like as far as this goes, hold on. Where's my? As far as this goes, you know, like this is an old version. But you know what? There's all these fancy digital ways to do things, but you know what? Sometimes it's good to just have like a piece of paper. You know, if you want to do tracking and stuff, just get a piece of paper, print your script out, make notes. You know, I mean, sometimes honestly, like sometimes there's nothing wrong with just doing it analog. So I actually found that this has been so far the easiest way to deal with this. I just have a piece of paper right in front of me. I don't have to flip windows or open up tabs or whatever, or try and make some tool or whatever. I just have a piece of paper. That's all I need, just a piece of paper, and I annotate on my script, you know? So don't overcomplicate things is that lesson, you know? Just sometimes grab yourself a piece of paper. Paper feels good, you know? It's like this nice feel. Makes that nice sound, you know? You've got these pens. Practice your penmanship. Write things down. And with that, I think we're going to call it done because I am about done here with my beer. So Friday, happy hour's over. The weekend's beginning. Hope you all have a great weekend.